Hi, tonight we are looking at AMC Entertainment because we do have some fantastic news for AMC. It is another day in the green. We're looking at increases of around 15% from market open till close, which is insane. The past 5 days bringing very big gains now. We can see up about 48%, and even today alone you can see the massive increase that we have seen on the charts. It just becomes reflected how much this one has gone up by. So big gains obviously from last night. We can see up now by about 26%. That is insanity. And over the past month, interest really is growing in this stock as it just keep going up higher and higher and higher. We are now up 148% in the past 30 days, which is madness. Well, in this one, I'm giving all of my opinions on this one because we can see now the curve on AMC is picking itself up. Interest is becoming higher and higher. I do believe this could be the start of growth for AMC, and we could really start to see this one take off pretty soon. I'm giving all of my opinions in this episode, so do make sure to subscribe if you do want to hear them. Obviously, this is not financial advice. I'm sure you already know that, but I am just going to state it again, so please do make sure to take that in mind. Right, so let's start off by looking at AMC over the past day or so. Well, we are seeing a big increase as we can see in the morning, which is fantastic. I am loving what we are seeing now with AMC. It's very good and it is really where we need to be. Over the past week, we already know that interest is just continuously picking up as we are seeing a big increase in share price, which is fantastic. Now, this comes after those initial highs which we were seeing just a few months ago with AMC, and now we are getting back to where we previously were. Now, this high wasn't as high as other stocks like GME, and it definitely wasn't as high as a lot of people were anticipating. I think this is something that we need to remember. But now we are seeing the growth become a bit more stable, a bit more, linear, which is good in my eyes. I think it could equate to more long-term growth in the next week or so, which could really pick up the price of this stock. Now, of course, now we are going to go over to Google Trends. Now, this is not necessarily the best indication of interest around the stock, but I have searched up for the term AMC stock. Now, in the past 7 days, we can see that this one has been hotting up today, which is good. Obviously, this one has been pretty dead over the weekend. Not too many people looking into stocks over the weekend, so that does make sense. But yeah, today we are seeing a lot of interest, and this has been reflected in the share price. In fact, if we can see the amount of interest on this one at the peak this morning, or at least this afternoon, we can see that the interest today was higher than what it has been on the Friday, on the Thursday, and even on the Tuesday, I do believe. So obviously the Wednesday, I do believe it was the most anticipated day. It's when we saw the biggest amount of interest around the stock. But today the reflection is coming through as the interest is actually following the share price. Now, in my eyes, I think this is a good thing. I definitely wouldn't be surprised if this was to continue into the future, and this is what I'm trying to focus on in this video. I think the growth for AMC really is starting to hotten up. I think this is reflected in Google Trends somewhat, and it is definitely reflected in AMC stock. Now, that might not make a lot of sense to some of you guys, but hear me out. This is what I'm trying to say, right? Obviously, GME received a lot of attention. We know this. It was in the newspapers, it was on the radio, it was all over the place, it was even on the mainstream television because it was a very highly anticipated event. Now, we have seen the likes of GME obviously pave the way for this short squeeze mentality, for this Reddit mentality with stocks getting hyped. So, of course, it's not too much of a surprise to as many people anymore. But you know what? AMC really did slip under the radar in my eyes. A lot of the newspapers were only talking about GME, and in reality that was not the only stock which got this attention, which got this hype from Reddit. I think next time around we are seeing GME already climb again, but obviously it has been falling today, and now we are seeing AMC start to take over slowly but surely. And I have spoken about this one in a previous episode with the growth that we have seen for GME. Yes, it was pretty much what we are seeing with AMC in pattern wise, where it did rocket overnight, but ultimately we didn't see this big drop off previously. We saw growth steadily and slowly start to build up in GME's share price. I think this is what we are starting to see with AMC. So ultimately, the thing to remember is that yes, GME did get a big squeeze, it did get pushed up to a few $100s, but that didn't happen overnight. I think right now, where we are with AMC could be a fantastic position. I think the growth is starting to have begun, but we are definitely not anywhere near where the tip could potentially be. We've spoken about this in previous videos, the potential of this one hitting $1,000, maybe even higher than that some people are anticipating. I think $1,000 may be a bit high, but you know what, maybe half of that or a quarter of that is absolutely doable if, again, the interest does continue to pick up, and personally I do think it will. Obviously, this mentality is going nowhere. From the comment section, I can tell a lot of you people are still interested. I think it's a very unique thing that we are seeing, and I think it is a very cool and good thing. So ultimately, would I buy this stock now? Obviously, from a fundamental standpoint, I would not buy AMC. We already know that. It is still a decent company, and they have more and more good news coming out all the time. I think it was today, actually, where they opened a lot of their theatres, which is good, and it is another step in the right direction. In my eyes, it would take a Q1 positive earnings result to tip this one over the edge and send the share price flying, as a lot of people would be even more happy to buy this stock. But yeah, the hype is building again. I think it is fantastic. I think this stock definitely did slip under the radar last time that these Reddit stocks got attention. I think this could be the time for AMC, that this one becomes a stock which really does take over the markets and potentially continues to rocket. We already know how stimulus checks could potentially affect this one, as more people could be buying this stock using a stimulus check to do that, and that could also send the share price flying as well. So right now, the thing that I'm trying to say is that if you are looking to buy this one, growth is fantastic right now. I do think we are going to see more positivity into the next few days. I wouldn't be too surprised if tomorrow was a bit negative at open, because we have seen such a large increase today, so it would make a bit of sense. But again, who really knows where this one is going short term? But personally, that is my prediction for open. But ultimately, I think tomorrow is going to be another day at least quite flat, if not green, and if that is the case, fantastic. But even if this one is going to squeeze, or if it's going to rocket for whatever reason, we need to remember that is not going to happen overnight. And we need to be willing to take that growth in the next 2 to 3 weeks, or the next 2 to 3 months, because it isn't going to happen overnight. As with GME, this one is going to get that attention potentially, but it isn't going to happen in a very short period. It might take a month, it might take 2, but in my eyes, the growth is continuing, the attention is continuing. I think all it takes is eyes to become, a bit more apparent on AMC to send this one flying into the future, into the moon potentially as well. So I'm pretty happy with where we are. I definitely would buy this one right now if you're willing to risk it, but obviously don't put too much onto this one. Only put on what you're willing to lose in a worst case scenario, because it is quite risky. But yes, sir, the potential is there. The upside potential is massive, and I would like to report another video tomorrow being in the green. So hopefully we can see tomorrow be in the green. I'd love to see that, and I'll see you in tomorrow's one. Goodbye until then.